The first of the back-to-backs between Game 3 and 4 get going tonight with the Montreal Canadiens hosting the Winnipeg Jets in Game 3. Our playoff coverage brought to you by Bitbuy, Canada's #1 cryptocurrency platform. And Aaron, let's start with the Montreal Canadiens. Up 2-0 in this series. No lineup changes expected for this evening. What do the Habs need to do to keep their composure, not get ahead of themselves, and hope to go up 3-0?
I think the realization they don't have to change anything is the toughest decision, right? To know that you're coming into Game 3 and think to yourself, well, this small little changes, there's nothing that has to happen. Personnel, tactics, anything. The approach has to remain the same. And I think that's why when you sit at these press conferences and you hear Ducharme talk about it, Caulfield talk about the veteran presence, the guys that have been there before, essentially Montreal knows they kind of walked their way through Game 2, but they still won the game. The onus now is on Winnipeg to solve the Montreal Canadiens. So knowing that you're coming home to Montreal and there's that natural urge to put on a show, whether it's for 2,500 people, whatever you're trying to do, you realize the magnitude of the game and it'll be televised across Canada. Stay within yourself. And that's for everybody on this team. Carey Price has to be great, and this team simply has to maintain the same style and same approach they've had the whole entire 2 games in Winnipeg and embrace the underdog status still, because 2 wins means nothing. You're coming home and starting over from zeros.
Yeah, that's what Eric Stahl mentioned as well this morning, that, 2 wins is nice, but you got to get to 4 in this series. One of the things that we'll touch on the Jets in a second, but one of the things that the Jets had mentioned in their earlier press conferences, they had their defenseman out as well as the head coach, Paul Maurice, but they said that they've got to apply a little bit more pressure and also try to crash the net a little bit more. And conversely, Ducharme saying that they like the way that they're boxing out into their zone, and that's their plan going into this game. How difficult is it for A, the Jets to do that, but B, Montreal to continue to box out and keep a clear path for Carey Price?
Well, with Montreal still playing basically 4D ad nauseum, the box-out mentality works for them, right? These guys don't have to overskate into corners. They don't have to do too much. They have to do the bare minimum to try and transition the puck out. Winnipeg really, if Winnipeg thinks that just doing that's going to get it done for them, they're kidding themselves. This will be over pretty quick. This is a Winnipeg team that has to establish some level of dominance in the possession of the puck in the offensive zone. And it's not just getting in on these guys. This is a 5-man unit. I don't know if it's just the fact they've had so much upheaval in the lineup and they can't find that groove, the consistency, whatever it is, but finding themselves is difficult currently, and that for the Winnipeg Jets is the biggest battle. It's all mental. Someone on this team has to take it by the reins and do something different. And it can't be clearly Scheifele's out of the lineup. Wheeler can only do so much. The normal guys who have been consistent through the playoffs, they have to maintain that. I think it's time for a guy like Dubois right now to step up and grab it. Drafted in 2016, he's had enough time to figure this out. He's stepping in for a Laine that was a big name that transitioned out. He's now the guy. It's time to put up or shut up. And I think that's the key thing for him. This guy should be a guy coming back to Quebec that should be embracing the idea of I can put on a show. I can be the thing that this team grabs onto and we run with it. But Dubois has to embrace it. And someone out of the locker room has to say, hey, buddy, it's time. Like, we're done waiting. We've watched you. You've been but doesn't get it done in the playoffs. This has to be a clear and verifiable presence for the Winnipeg Jets for the rest of these games if they want to even hit Game 7.
Yeah, it was a little surprising we didn't see him or someone like Wheeler really stepping up in Game 2. He was kind of just floating around doing the motions a little bit in that one, and here we are, 2-0 for the Montreal Canadiens. Paul Maurice mentioning that there probably isn't going to be any changes to his lineup other than what's happening with Paul Stastny. He's a game-time decision. Maurice said that he looked good, but what are the challenges of bringing in this guy into the lineup when he might not be 100%?
I think it's the same challenge for every coach, right? So you got a guy that comes in the lineup, and first, is he going to be effective? Second, is he going to be a guy that's out after the first or second shift? Kind of like DeMello, right? Where, you get, 50 seconds in and he's gone. So you can't have Stastny out there knowing you'll be deficient for the rest of the game. This could go to overtime, whatever happens. But you also have to realize that you have a finite amount of time to fix this. So to get an inspiration in there, whether it is Stastny, whatever it is, you got to find something for this entire team to grab onto and to go with it. So, Maurice has to figure out, is he going to help or hinder the process for Stastny? Does maybe eking through Game 3 and getting in a position, maybe 2-1, and realize that couple of days really helped them to get to the place they want to be, and Stastny can come in and be more effective having had that extra rest? I don't know. Again, that's the management of being a coach and why they make the money that they do.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first of a back-to-back. Game 4 happens Monday night. but nobody's thinking that far ahead on either side. It's Game 3 tonight at the Bell Center at 6 p.m. We'll check with you after the game. We'll see where this one goes. That's Aaron Ward. I'm David Pagnotta.